Let me ask you, does your anxiety hit you completely out of the blue? You weren't worried or stressed, nothing dangerous was happening, and everything around you was seemingly calm, yet suddenly your heart started to race and your chest tightened and your mind screamed that something was wrong. Well, that's my story. 2002, when I boarded an airplane leaving New York, I wasn't thinking about anxiety. I wasn't thinking about panic attacks. I didn't even know what they were. Somewhere, sitting in silence on that plane, something happened. My body sounded an alarm that changed my life forever. The plane eventually had to stop so I could get off, and for years afterward, I believed that anxiety had attacked me out of nowhere. But today I know better, and understanding this truth becomes one of the keys to my freedom and possibly yours. Anxiety doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes from somewhere that you have not yet discovered. At first, I thought the problem was airplanes, and then quickly it spread to church auditoriums and elevators, car washes, crowded rooms, driving in the fog, even in my sleep. Eventually, it felt like there was nowhere that I was safe. It became the first thing I thought about in the morning and the last thing I thought about at night. I don't know if you can relate to that, but every day became a risk assessment. Every outing became a potential panic attack. Every sensation became something that I could fear. The first panic attack can feel random, but the next 100, they feel personal. Here's what finally changed my thinking. If airplanes weren't the problem, why was I having anxiety in church? If church was the problem, why was I having anxiety in the elevators? If elevators were the problem, why was I having anxiety in my sleep? Then one day it hit me. The environment's always changing, but the anxiety, it just followed me, which meant the environment wasn't the source was traveling with me. The problem wasn't the plane. The problem got on the plane with me, then followed me off the plane. So you're sitting in your house and you hear a smoke detector and it starts screaming. Immediately you think, fire, danger, emergency. But what if there's no fire? What if somebody burned the toast, or if the dust triggered the detector? What if the detector became overly sensitive? The alarm is definitely real, and the noise is certainly real, and the fear is real, but there's no danger. And that's what happened to me. My nervous system became an overly sensitive alarm system. The panic attack wasn't the problem, it was the alarm. David asked a fascinating question in Psalm 42. He said, "Why art thou cast down, O my soul?" Notice what David did. He didn't ignore his emotions, but he investigated them and he became curious. He searched for the source, and that's where healing begins. Not by running from anxiety, not by fearing anxiety, but by understanding anxiety. Healing begins when curiosity becomes greater than fear. And here's the lesson. A lot of people will say, well, my anxiety came out of nowhere. And I understand why they say that, because I used to say the same thing. But anxiety rarely comes from nowhere. It comes from hidden patterns, unprocessed stress, fear conditioning, a hypersensitive nervous system, thought patterns you've repeated for years without even realizing it. And the panic attack is often the final symptom, not the first problem. You see, panic attacks don't necessarily create fear, they just expose it. And the good news is this: if anxiety has roots, it can be uprooted. If your nervous system learned fear, it can learn safety. If your mind learned panic, then it can learn peace. You're not broken and you're not losing your mind, and you're not beyond help. Isaiah said, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee." Notice the word mind, because God cares about your thought patterns. God cares about your nervous system. God cares about your healing. Listen, hit the like and subscribe buttons to our channel if you already haven't, because anxiety may feel like it came out of nowhere, but it came from somewhere. And when you find the source, you can begin the journey to freedom. Next week, I'm going to show you the difference between real danger and perceived danger. And that lesson really changed everything for me. And I want it to change everything for you too. Remember, freedom isn't the absence of fear. It's learning to walk through it. Let me encourage you to go to journeytofreedom.online. Our book, Peace Beyond Panic, is helping hundreds of people just like you. You can also watch amazing testimonials of people who have gone through the Journey to Freedom 40-day course. Start your journey today.